But
Hi, welcome to our channel.
I hit dead on with it. Actually, perfect. Hey everybody, welcome back. Gonna bring you a little update video, and also just kind of make you aware of something that I found the other day. It's going to be about the Taurus TX22. I've already done a video on this after putting 2,500 rounds through it. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I'll put a link down below in the description. And I just kind of went over my philosophy, you know, kind of my intentions for this gun and why I personally would want something like this. And your mileage may vary, but that's what I kind of go over in the first video. So if you haven't seen that, like I said, check it out. But today what I wanted to talk about was a couple things. One, if in the first video I mentioned that, you know, it only comes with 2 magazines. As you can see, I have since picked up 2 more. There is no magazine in the gun. The gun is completely unloaded. There's no ammo out here. Safe direction. It's empty. But yeah, I picked up 2 more mags. They've been completely reliable. They've been just as reliable as the originals. Which, like I mentioned before, I think this thing is as reliable as you can make a rimfire. It's super reliable. I'll go ahead and get that out of the way now. I had in the original video 2,500 rounds through the gun. I haven't kept up with it exactly, but it's somewhere in the 35 to maybe 4, maybe just a hair over. I would definitely say I'm over 3,500, and I'm probably quickly approaching 4. So I guess if I had to put a number on, I'd probably say about 3,800. So about 3,800 rounds. I'm not going to take it apart, but you can take it apart. Well, actually, I probably will in a minute, but I guess I'll go ahead and do it now. Let's see. It is showing really no signs of wear or anything like that on the inside. You can see it's kind of oily. I just cleaned it. I really haven't cleaned this thing. I mentioned in the original video I'm kind of rough on my rimfire guns because for me it's a dedicated trainer. I'll go ahead and take this apart just for another reason. But yeah, that's that. So the gun itself is doing good. I'm glad the mags are kind of becoming available. I ordered these direct from Taurus. They're like 21 bucks each with some shipping. This is one of the new ones here. I marked them on the bottom, the old ones versus the original. You know, springs nice and tight. They're a little difficult to load, but you know, a lot of people are complaining about that, but to me, they're not really that bad. I mean, you know, just part of it with 22s. But what I mainly want to talk to you about is something, ever since I got this thing, one of my complaints, and it was a very minor complaint, was the front sight. And you can see it there. It was really thin, and I really actually like the thinness of it. What I didn't like is how small the dot was. It was just really hard to pick up. And even though I am using this for a trainer, I kind of wanted it to be, I just wanted a little bit more when it comes to the sight. So I started doing some research, and by research I mean Googling, and I quickly found out that there was a sight available for it, and it's for a company called Lakeline. There's their name. And so as you can figure, I ordered one. Here's the instructions it came with. They're very good instructions, very detailed, telling you all exactly how to install it. And before I actually show you the sight, you can see here the models that it fits. It fits a lot of different Taurus models. And it doesn't even say that it fits the TX22. Now on their website it did, and I emailed them and verified that it would fit, but here it doesn't. So that leads me to believe that some of these other Taurus sights that you see here will also fit on the TX22. Now, like I said, I don't know if that's true. I'm just basing that off of this. I did email Taurus. Taurus said they were not compatible. But, like I said, this company, Lakeline, they seem to make a lot of sights. I've never heard of them until now. And, like I said, they've obviously haven't updated their paperwork you know, since this 22 has came out, and it still shows all these different models that this sight fits, and the TX22 is not even one of them. But that's beside the point. You know, I just want to go over the sight. Everything was real simple, good instructions, simple packaging. It is a fiber optic sight, which I do prefer night sights, but on this gun, you know, like I said, I'm just looking for something a little better than the factory sight. And you can see the factory sight was real simple. It had a little Allen head screw, kind of an egg-shaped base that goes down in the slide. I did not video the install of it, but it was very simple. If you are familiar with Glock sights at all, then you can definitely install this. And like I said, it's fiber optic sight. It comes with the rods not installed, and it comes with a yellow, or I guess you would say a green, a orange, and a red rod. You can see them all there. You can see the red one. I opted to go with the red one. If you're not familiar with how to install fiber optic rods, there's other videos to show you how to do it. But honestly, the instructions here are pretty easy to follow. I've done fiber optic rods for years, so it was nothing new. But here is it installed. And I have to say, it looks really good, at least to me. Camera to focus. There you go. So obviously I went with the red. It's going to come without the rod installed, like I said, and then you'll be able to pick the color you want. But I installed it. It is it's made out of aluminum, so it's not like, you know, stainless or anything like that. It's aluminum, but I mean the whole slide on this gun's aluminum. And compared to the plastic one that it came with, I think it's a pretty good little upgrade. So there's kind of your sight picture. I only took it off to show you this. Let me get my flashlight out of my pocket. My little Streamlight ProTac. I think this is the 115 lumen. Man, I've had this thing forever, and you can see the wear on it. This is a great little light, but anyway. You see that screw head down in there? Anyway, the factory sight that I had here, it has a Allen head. The replacement has a little Phillips head, which I thought was cool. You can kind of see it there. But, yeah. Anyway, it was not a rear sight. I emailed the company, I emailed Lakeline and asked them about a rear sight. And they said right now they didn't make a rear for it yet, but they did have something in the works for the future. So, still running the factory rear. As I mentioned before, I blacked it out because that is my preferred setup. I like a blacked out rear. I actually prefer a U-notch, but this is fine. And then I like, you know, either a fiber optic or a night sight in the front. Fiber optics are definitely nice, but I like night sights generally. But this is perfect for this. This is a dedicated trainer, so it gives me a really good sight picture that's much more compatible to something that I normally would have on an actual defensive gun, which is what I'm replicating with this gun for training purposes. But that's basically it. I'm going to put it together here off camera if I can do it. All thumbs. There we go. It's very thin. I haven't put it like on the caliber or anything. I'll tell you what, hold on one second if you'll bear with me, and I will get my super fancy Harbor Freight caliber here. Zero down. I haven't done this, so this will be interesting. We'll see it together. Okay, you can see it there. That's 15,000 wide. Now I'm going to guess before doing this one's going to be slightly thinner, but I could be wrong. Yep, just barely thinner. So like I said, I actually like that, which may sound like I'm contradicting myself. I like the thin front sights because I think that gives you a more cleaner sight picture, and it's just more precise in my opinion. You can see it there on the gun all installed. But I still want to maintain that big, you know, not necessarily big, but something up front that draws my eye. Let me grab another pistol here to show you what I mean. This is my Glock 17 MOS, and it's got, you can see, it got a blacked out U-notch in the rear. We've got a green fiber optic in the front, and this side is very thin. I think it's 115 or 15 thousandths wide. But yeah, I like that. I like that thin sight picture. So I mean, you know, this is really comparable. You know, obviously the Glock in my left here, to the left, has the U-notch, but kind of the same. So back to my original use, you can get a lot of good practice in with that 22. That, in my opinion, just rolls right over to the Glock or whatever your carry gun is. But that's just my opinion. I've done lots and lots. I'm not trying not to get off on a rant here. I've done lots of comparisons. Like here's a comparison of, you know, of a 9 versus a 22. But I've done tons and tons of comparisons, comparing different numbers and shooting them side by side, 22s and comparing it to the 9mm, kind of a 9mm counterpart. So something like this TX22 compared to a 17. And the variable between the two is so incredibly small that it really is shocking. So I said all that to say this, like I said before, you can get a lot of practice in with this. And then when you pick up, you know, that 17 or 19, whatever your choice gun is, it just rolls right over. Anyway, that's going on and on, just rambling at this point. But I just want to show off this sight. If you're looking for something to upgrade your TX22, I think this will be a nice choice. I have absolutely no complaints with the rear sight. My only reason for wanting to update the rear sight in the future is for one-handed manipulations. I do a lot of that. Well, I say I do a lot. I just like to practice one-handed stuff where you need to be able to hook that ledge of that sight on something to rack the slide. And you can definitely do it with this plastic one, and I've had no problem because this sight is made pretty much all plastic. But I don't know how long it's going to be before I snap this sight off. So Lakeline said that they might have a metal one in the works coming up when I emailed them. So that's something I definitely will be looking to upgrade as well. But as far as just function and normal shooting and even training, I really haven't had a problem with this sight. But I'm just expecting one day I'm going to hook this thing on my belt or something and go to run that slide one-handed, and I might snap it off. But anyway, guys, that's about it. I was trying to keep this as short as I can. Short for me anyway. I always talk too much. But I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions about this or the TX22 or the Lakeline sights, just feel free to let me know. I just kind of want to throw this out there because when I started looking for sights, there was definitely no info out there. And I'll mention that the sight was it was $20. I think it was $20 and a couple bucks shipping, so very reasonably priced. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.